What's the difference between I have studied a lot and I have been studying a lot? Both of these sentences are about things that happened in the past, and you might already know that I have studied a lot is regular present perfect tense, while I have been studying a lot is present perfect continuous tense. But you might still be wondering, what does that actually mean? I'm Teacher Mike, and today I'm going to make sure that you understand when and why we use regular present perfect tense, and when and why we use present perfect continuous tense. And we're going to start with regular present perfect tense. This tense is used for a finished action that is somehow connected to the present, usually because it has a result that is still important right now. For example, I have washed my car. The basic meaning of this is that I finished washing my car sometime in the past, but what it really tells us is that right now my car is probably still clean. Or, I have done my homework. Again, the basic meaning is that I finished doing my homework sometime in the past, but we're probably saying it because of something that is important right now. For example, imagine that you have a rule that your daughter has to do her homework before she can go outside to play. If you see her going outside earlier than she usually does, you might say, "Hey, where are you going? You need to do your homework before you go outside." In that case, she could reply, "I've done my homework." And again, it's not really about the action of doing the homework. It's more about the present result. What she really means is, my homework is finished, so now I can go outside. Another example, I've lost my keys. The basic meaning is that I lost my keys sometime in the past, but what it really means is, right now I still don't know where they are. And although that's the aspect of present perfect that I wanted to focus on in this video today, there are also other situations in which we use it. One is when talking about past experiences without specifying when in the past they happened. For example, I have been to Japan. We also use present perfect tense when talking about past actions that happened in a time period that is still continuing right now. For example, I've seen 2 movies this week. The movies are in the past, but the time period, this week, is still continuing right now. And before we talk about present perfect continuous tense, if you're finding this video useful, please don't forget to give it a like. Doing this really helps my channel, but it also helps other learners like you because it tells them that this is a good video to watch. And now, present perfect continuous tense. We usually use this tense to focus on a continuing action, or explain the unintended result of a continuing action. And when I say unintended result, I basically mean a side effect, or something that happened that we weren't trying to make happen. And I know that that might not be very clear, so let me give you a few examples. First example, if my friend asks me why my clothes are so wet, I could reply, "I've been washing my car." I might not be finished washing the car, and whether or not I'm finished really doesn't matter. The important thing is just that this activity is the reason why my clothes are now wet. Or if someone says, "You've gained a lot of weight," you could reply, "Yeah, I've been eating a lot of cake recently." Whether or not you're still eating a lot of cake right now really isn't important. What's important is just that eating a lot of cake is the reason why you are now heavier. Final example. If someone says, "You look really tired," you might reply, "I haven't been sleeping well recently." This basically means my recent lack of sleep is the reason why I look tired. So while regular present perfect focuses on the result of a completed action, present perfect continuous can focus on the unintended result of an action which might not yet be completed. Now, back to the question that we started with. what's the difference between I have studied a lot and I have been studying a lot? I want you to imagine two situations. First situation, your friend walks into your room, looks at your desk, and asks, "Why is your desk so messy?" Second situation, you're about to take an exam, and as your teacher hands you the exam, she looks at you and says, "You look confident." In one of those situations, it makes more sense to reply, "I have studied a lot." And in the other one, it makes more sense to reply, "I have been studying a lot." So, which reply is best for situation number 1, and which reply is best for situation number 2? Well, again, I have studied a lot is regular present perfect tense, which is the tense that we use to focus on the present result of something that is finished. I have been studying a lot is present perfect continuous tense, which is the tense that we can use to explain an unintended result of something which might not yet be finished. Because of this, I have been studying a lot makes more sense in the first situation. It basically tells us that studying a lot is the reason for the unintended result that the desk is now messy, and it doesn't specify whether or not I have finished studying. I have studied a lot focuses more on the final result of that studying. And the final result of studying a lot for an exam is usually that you feel prepared. Therefore, I have studied a lot makes more sense in the second situation, because it basically means that's why I feel prepared. So remember, regular present perfect focuses on the result of a finished action. Again, I have washed my car. That probably means that my car is now clean. Or I have finished my homework. That probably means that I'm now free to do other activities. Present perfect continuous can also focus on a result of something, but not usually the final result. Again, I have been washing my car does not guarantee that your car is now clean, but you could use this to explain why your clothes are wet. Likewise, I have been eating a lot of cake does not guarantee that I am done eating cake, but I could use it to explain why I am now heavier than I used to be. However, when you're talking about something that is still continuing right now, and you include a time phrase like for 2 days or since November, you can usually use either tense, and most people will understand them to mean exactly the same thing. For example, I have lived here for 2 years, and I have been living here for 2 years. Most native speakers won't see any real difference between those except for two very small things. First, present perfect continuous tense tends to sound a bit more active, whereas regular present perfect tense sounds a bit more like an achievement. And second, present perfect continuous tense can also suggest that something is more temporary, while regular present perfect tense can make it sound a bit more permanent. But again, the basic meaning is really the same. And finally, if you found this explanation useful and would like more videos like this one, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel.